Welcome back. I'm your Fedora fellow, Adam Semple. We've reached the halfway point of the heroes of the faith who were called twice by God. So far we've looked at Abraham in the Old Testament, we've looked at Martha in the New Testament, and then we looked at Moses in the Old Testament in the book of Exodus. Today we're going to go back to the book of Luke in the New Testament, and we're going to look at the story of Peter when Jesus predicts his betrayal. So today we're going to look in the 22nd chapter of Luke. We're just going to read a few verses of our hero who was called twice. And the Lord said, "Simon, Simon, indeed Satan has asked for you that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith should not fail. And when you have returned to me, strengthen your brethren." But he said to him, "Lord, I am ready to go with you, both to prison and to death." Then he said, "I tell you, Peter, the rooster shall not crow this day before you will deny 3 times that you know me." So what's happening in this story? Jesus has just finished eating the Last Supper with his disciples. He's already shown Judas that he will be the one who betrays him, and he's already sent him off to do what he has to do. He's already washed the disciples' feet. He's already taken communion, done all these things that we know happen at this event. And as they're sitting, just kind of letting the meal settle, Jesus addresses his disciples and he says, "Simon, Simon, Satan has asked specifically for you to sift you as wheat." Now, what does it mean to sift as wheat? If you know anything about harvesting or dealing with a wheat crop, they would take this filter and they would put the wheat on top and they'd shake it until all the dirt and all the rocks broke away from the good produce, from the good harvest that came from the wheat. So when Jesus is saying that Satan is wanting to sift Peter like wheat, what he's saying is Satan sees that Peter is going to be a huge influence in the church. So he's trying to shake his faith just enough that some of the good seed falls in with the dirt, that some of the good harvest falls away, and the testimony of Peter becomes nothing. But take note of the next verse, because Jesus says, "I have prayed on your behalf that when the trial comes, yes, it will happen, but you will be strengthened, and you can strengthen your brethren after you." Jesus isn't saying that he prayed away the temptation. What he's saying, though, is that he prayed away the shame that comes from failing. Because Peter now knows, yes, he will fail. He will betray Jesus. He will not make it on his own strength. But God has already given him a way of escape, a way of redemption, a way of forgiveness. And he just has to remember that Jesus is praying on his behalf. How cool is it to know that as we go through life, as we do all the right things and still fail, Jesus is up at the right hand of the Father praying on our behalf, so that when Satan comes to ask to sift us as wheat, we're covered by the prayers of the Son. Remember today that anything Satan does will fail. Any weapon that is formed against us won't prosper, and any temptation or trial that comes our way, God has already prepared a way out. So join us tomorrow. We'll look at another Old Testament hero who's called twice by God. Until then, God bless.